Hello, Capital W friends, fans, and followers. I'm Leslie Winnick, Capital W co-founder and board member, and I am really excited to have this conversation today because Susan Milazzo is here, a instrumental person in elevating everyone in the mortgage industry, CEO of the California MBA, and just basically a rock star in our industry.
Oh my gosh, that is an amazing intro. Thank you so much. And thank you for the invite to be on your podcast.
Yeah, we're thrilled that you're here. We're thrilled for your support. We're thrilled for the energy and the positivity and the intellect and the smarts you put out there. California MBA is very on point with the messaging. I'm already getting off script here. But I mean, you jump into the politics and the regulation and like at the Western Secondary recently, really driving deep on an insurance crisis in California.
Yes.
So you're a very timely organization that's broad, represents everyone in the mortgage industry, but also hones in on critical policy and issues. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
So you don't just jump into the CEO role, right? You're not born a CEO. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. Don't have a background in the mortgage industry. I think that sometimes I've been doing this for 20 years now. Don't ask when I started and how old I was then, but it's been a very long time. Great journey. But I actually, I grew up in Sacramento area, our state capital. And I got a job literally when I was still in high school working for a political consultant. So I had, the only industry I knew while I was getting, going to college and trying to find my way was really in politics, and kind of got started there. I got a job in the Capitol and I started working on political campaigns, and started my own political consulting firm when I was 25 as a political fundraiser. And just kind of in that journey, I've met a lot of people still in politics. And it's really interesting when people talk about their careers in the mortgage industry, because you're like, oh, I've known Leslie for, we worked together 15 years ago or 20 years ago. Well, politics is the same. I mean, it is really, and I had no idea at the time, the connections that I still have today. I mean, the counterparts at California Building Industry Association, Personal Insurance Federation, the California Chamber. These are all people, we were all in our 20s together working in the Capitol. So it was a great journey. After I decided to kind of pivot from political fundraising into association management, a lot of my contacts were lobbyists, and they're like, oh, I've got a client, an association that needs some help with fundraising. And I have a conversation with them. I'm like, you don't really need help with fundraising. You need organization. Like, you just need some help getting organized. So it kind of blossomed into my next business, which was association management. And lo and behold, California Mortgage Bankers was one of my clients. And I was doing some consulting for them for a few years. And the person who had my role previously called me one day and said, I'm leaving. I'm taking another job. And I told them they should hire you. Aww. And he said, I haven't had a job in 13 years. I'm really not sure I want a job, but it's been a great ride. I've learned a ton about the mortgage industry. To your point about finding people in the industry that will help you. I've been very, very fortunate to work with a lot of people in the mortgage industry over all these a couple of decades that have really helped me understand what it is that I need to do for the industry and makes us, a good representation for the real estate finance industry.
Well, I just learned so much about you. I didn't know, but there's some very, very key themes that I think are important to highlight is, as a consultant, your willingness to understand complex issues and highlight them, headline them, and solve them. Like, it's a very different skill set, right? Organization, you said, for fundraising. And now I understand why the CMBA is so into policy. Because that's your history.
Right.
But, I think you and I are probably, I think we're contemporaries and in our age and in our careers. And, it's that thread that you bring to your career. You didn't plan it back then.
Right.
But you bring pieces of yourself and your knowledge throughout your career. And you're doing just a beautiful job threading that, weaving that together with your skill set.
And I've been very, very fortunate to work with leaders in the industry that have been on my board over these decades that allow me to do that. They have faith in me and they know that I'm making decisions for the organization that is best thing for the organization and for the industry to protect the mortgage industry.
Yeah, I think that's another important thing, especially as a capital W supporter, like feeling like your decisions matter and have weight and being empowered to make the change, make the big decision.
Right.
That's important.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And just because you have a title doesn't mean that you're always working within the structure that allows you to do that.
Exactly.
So I'm very lucky that you have that set up.
Absolutely. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, it's a great backstory. And the other thing I would say is you didn't come in with mortgage knowledge, and that's the great thing about our industry. It's it's easily absorbed, right? Like it's something that's tangible. Like, okay, we don't make widgets, or we don't have an object that we produce, but a home is an easily understandable concept,
right?
And then what are all the pieces that, from a real estate agent all the way through a loan and closing and locking and servicing, the whole journey of that is easily grasped.
And I find that, and I hear this from our future leader program participants, that people in the mortgage industry are they're very happy to share their expertise. Yeah. I mean, if I had a question about capital markets, I know I could call you and you'd spend your time and make sure that I understood.
That's right. Yeah, I feel like we're in an industry that really does the co-opetition part is there. Even if someone's your competitor, we're all here for the benefit of mortgage. Okay, so CEO, what's a day in the life of Susan? Like, does your alarm clock go off and you're like, okay, shot out of a cannon?
Already, well, there's certainly days like that, for sure. So the core mission, I think a lot of people identify the California MBA with our conferences because we have some really effective events that, allow industry to get together, share great content, make good connections. But the core mission for the California MBA is advocacy. So we represent the real estate finance industry for the California state legislature and our regulators. You mentioned this year, we are also active on promoting changes and reforms in our insurance industry so that we can bring stability back to that. So, I mean, my job is multifaceted. The primary goal that I want to make sure our listeners hear is that advocacy is the number one thing that we do. So it's my job to make sure that my lobbyists are supported with the information that they need as they review bills in California that are introduced, that they have the right background in policy and feedback from our members and the industry so that we can take positions that support, access to affordable credit and streamline things for borrowers and help people become homeowners. Right. We also have a commercial real estate finance side of our industry. So we're also monitoring legislation that affects the commercial real estate side of our industry as well. And we interact with our regulators in California for residential lenders. It's the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. So we've got a great working relationship with our regulators, and I work to maintain that, partnership with the regulator, which is an interesting aspect of my job because that role changes all the time. So it's not like, okay, I know this person, and
it's an elected position.
It's an appointed position. It's an appointed position by the governor, and so, but I always have to be, ready to develop that relationship with the next person who's in that role. And our lobbyists help us with, developing the relationships in the state legislature as well. And I'm very proud to say we have very strong positive reputation in Sacramento for representation from an advocacy standpoint. So that benefits the real estate, our members and the mortgage industry. Right. We also make sure that, all of our events, my staff has to kind of keep up and keep the ball rolling with all of the events, which MCT does a lot of events, so you understand the background that goes in with that. But we want to make sure that they are valuable, that the sponsors, the attendees come, and they make those connections and really are able to walk away with some tangible benefits and I think some great content, which we're fortunate to have. Sure. And then, we have committees that work on mortgage quality and compliance, legal issues, DE&I. So day in my life is kind of juggling all these great things. And we have a great base of volunteers. Any of our members, are welcome to join any of our committees and help us execute on any of those initiatives.
Very important part. First of all, shout out to Chloe Hewitt because she sounds like
she's amazing,
fantastic person.
Yeah.
And also volunteering is an important thing. We are welcoming committee members and volunteers at Capital W, and I would echo that and say the CMBA. I'm one California kid to another. Yeah. California is my home base too. Get involved, volunteer, be part of the change. I mean, I'm sure you would echo this. It's whatever amount of time you have to give, right? But give some time.
Right.
you'll feel better for it. It is that wonderful virtuous circle.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, part of the change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there is a lot of change in our industry right now. And what would you deem the most 1, 2, or 3 pressing issues that we're facing right now as an industry as a whole?
Well, in California, certainly I'm going to go back to the insurance crisis. And you cannot deny that is in crisis mode.
Yep.
And we have California MBA started actually over a year ago, going back to, my roots and my colleagues that I know in other business associations, kind of pooled our resources to make appeals to the Commission of Department of Insurance in California, highlighting how the insurance crisis is impacting each of our different industries. And for the mortgage industry, of course, it's affecting, the path to home ownership. There could be especially in high interest rate environment on top of all of this. We have borrowers that will qualify for a loan and then, 5-10 years ago, maybe even less, the insurance was just like an add-on thing, right? Well, now in many instances, it's a barrier for the loan to close.
I saw that it's as high as 20%.
Oh, it could be more than that. It can be more than that. And they talk about, first-time home buyers or borrowers that are on the margin.
Right.
It kicks them out of the opportunity for home ownership.
Yeah.
So I think the insurance crisis is a huge impact in California. Of course, it's only one state, but we have a significant part of the overall mortgage market in the country. So we continue to prioritize that, work with our partners and other business associations and the Department of Insurance Commissioner to encourage reforms in the DOI policies. Their insurance companies are able to do catastrophic rate modeling. It's a part of the issue.
I was going to ask about climate change and its impact on
yes. And part of the problem, or the kind of the genesis of our crisis, is that these providers have not been able to appropriately price the risk, their premiums for the risks that they take with wildfires in California.
It's understandable. I mean, the phenomenon now, whether it's a hurricane or tornadoes in Florida, it's just fire-nados that we get in California now.
Right.
It's a very difficult problem on both sides, from the insurer's side and from our side as a mortgage industry.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say, again, I'm kind of looking at through the lens, your question, what are the pressing issues in the market? I don't do capital markets, but I can think from my, from the legislative and regulatory standpoint. This year in 2024, we saw a tremendous number of bills on artificial intelligence, trying to regulate artificial intelligence. And I know it's happening in other states, and it's a priority for federal regulators as well. And while well-intentioned, it's really important that we, as an industry, and my lobbyists and I and my legislative committee work to educate policymakers on how the mortgage industry works and how we use artificial intelligence. Right. For example, there was a bill this year that would have allowed a consumer to opt out of any automated decision-making tools. They would have the opportunity to do that if it is affecting credit decision. Well, what does that mean in the mortgage industry? That means that a consumer can apply for a loan and opt out and not go through automated underwriting. Well, for independent mortgage bankers, the vast majority of them that don't service their loans, that's an unsellable loan because most aggregators don't take manual underwriting. So it's the journey to educate these policymakers on things like that. And that bill ended up stalling this year because we were able to get some amendments and then it kind of just fell apart. But we do anticipate that coming back next year. Some sort of, and while well-intentioned, right? I mean, they just want it, they want to provide consumer protection, and we do as well, but it's having to explain to policymakers that we've had automated underwriting for years, and we have it because it's better than it gives better protection
protection against protection. Private information's anonymized. There's lots of things that happen, but I understand. So AI, the proliferation of AI, the speed of which is proliferating is one of the issues,
right?
And insurance. Those are two really big ones.
Well, yeah, I think, the legislation and regulation around AI, I think from our standpoint is going to be key. And I just think that as the market stabilizes, which I think we can say, it's normalizing around historically normal rates.
Yeah.
I think IMBs and independent mortgage bankers finding ways to utilize more technology to have more stability within their companies, so that this higher up and higher down, depending upon, the interest rates and the pace of the market.
Yeah, so scaling. Like how do you make hay when the sun's shining, but also save for a rainy day? And I think that there's a crossover with the AI there too, right? At MCT, we've been using machine learning and AI for years. Just we haven't been running around screaming it, to everyone. But as we've done that, we didn't necessarily scale down. We retooled people and retooled roles. That when the automation took this part, we moved people to a different step in it. It to me, AI isn't, robots are not stealing our jobs yet. When Uber start flying in the sky, then I'm gonna get a little more scared about that. But for right now, it's how do we happily coexist and use it for our benefit?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Makes you more efficient, and provide a good, consumer experience.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about scaling up and scaling down a little bit, because our industry has retracted for lots of different reasons. But we're going to, we've been around long enough to know that it's going to cycle up, right? It's going to cycle up. And part of Capital W's mission is to make sure that whoever comes into our industry is as, based on merit, is the smartest and best person for that job. No matter if they're male, female, purple with pink polka dots. Yeah. But so what would you say to organizations who are going to be soon opening their doors and bringing more people into their companies? How would you invite more diversity into your organization? Not all people believe this, but I'm a firm believer that diversity of opinion and background and socioeconomic heritage and religion, all of that makes for better answers.
Right.
What advice would you give a company?
Well, I think there's studies that are done, right, that show that companies that have a higher level of diversity within their employee base are more successful overall. I think that going out and finding, and this is true, just for the mortgage industry, it's almost like you have to know somebody to be in the mortgage industry. So I would say, solution providers and mortgage banks. What if you had representation at local job fairs or at community colleges? Because community colleges, they may or may not have their career path chosen yet, and you might have an opportunity to share with them what happens in the mortgage industry. I think that an opportunity to all the facets of the mortgage industry, which people just don't understand. They hear mortgage industry and they're like, I can't be a loan officer. You're not a loan officer. It's like you have a career in the industry. I think that making sure that you identify, those diverse people in your companies and see if there's a way that you can elevate them. Can you give them mentorship? Can you give them different opportunities? Don't overlook these people. They're already committed to your company.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something that they have a talent that they don't even know about yet, but you could explore some ways to draw that out, to bring that out.
Those are all really excellent tips.
But it's, and we try, part of the benefit of membership in the California MBAs I've had for years is 3 under 35. So any member company can have any of our conferences. You can bring 3 of your team members that are 35 and under to any of our conferences free of charge.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, MCT, I did not know. MCT knows it. They've used it, but the idea, and when I initiated it, was to bring younger people into the industry.
Yes,
but you can use that for younger people that also have diversity, and give them the experience to go to these conferences and just listen and develop new, relationships and strike up a conversation with somebody. Like, what do you do in the industry?
Right.
And I think that there are ways that, we can bring more diversity. And I know all lenders know this, but, regulators are looking at that as well. They're looking at the diversity within these lenders' companies, right? Well, you need to have people that have commonalities and demographics that are similar to the communities that you need to provide.
In which you live and work and play, right? We need to be a mirror and reflect that back. Exactly. Yeah, I really, I love all those tips that you're saying. I'm so glad you're the CEO of the CMBA.
It's been such an honor. It's such an honor.
Okay, so those are the formal Take 5 questions I've done now, but now we're going to get into the Fast 5. It's our little spin on Big Bears.
Fast 5.
Fast 5.
Right.
Time questions. Okay.
Ready.
Favorite food?
Oh, pizza.
Pizza. Yeah.
I've just got to.
And apparently your name is Italian. So
right? I know.
We were just talking to someone. Your family's from Sicily,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. When you're not doing everything on behalf of our industry, what are some of your hobbies or fun activities?
Oh gosh. Well, I love to swim. I'm a lap swimmer. I play guitar, so I'd love to be able to spend more time playing my guitar and being better at it because I'm kind of very marginal, but I really love it. And my sister, who's extremely talented and artistic, taught me how to knit, and so I learned to knit.
I hear that's very like Serenity Now brings us in.
She was always the creative sister, and she's like, "You should learn to knit." I'm like, "Why? You know how to knit. You'll just make me anything I want."
Right.
And she taught me, and it is exactly that because you need to focus on it.
Are you so good that you can look up and like watch TV? I see people doing like this.
No. It was a bunch of counting and shushing of my husband when he's talking. I'm like,
really?
Can you not hear me counting my stitches?
So like guitar and knitting are counterpoints. When someone's like very active and making sound, that's your
creativity.
Yeah,
creativity,
expressing that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so guitar. Who's your favorite musician or musical group?
Oh, Miranda Lambert.
I love her.
Doesn't, right?
I know. The House of Guitar. The House of the that's
right?
one of my favorites.
Yeah. She's amazing.
She's just a rock star. She's amazing. Yeah, but she is a rock star.
Yeah.
Okay,
just in many ways.
Miranda Lambert should be playing one of our congresses.
Yes. Oh my God. And I will volunteer for that.
Yeah. I'll work backstage too.
Not be a creepy stalker.
Yeah, correct.
Or maybe. Yeah. No, she's amazing.
Okay. And if you could travel anywhere, where would you want to be right now?
Probably in Ireland. Because I am actually not Italian, I'm Irish.
Oh,
I want to go to my homeland one of these days.
I went this summer. I love Ireland. So when you plan your trip, I have an itinerary.
Oh.
Well, this was delightful.
Thank you so much. This was really fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you for watching. Also, when we post this on LinkedIn, feel free to recommend other people that you think would make an amazing Take 5 guest. We're so grateful for you being here, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.